Hi, YouTube. You are not what you do for a living. In our society, one of the very first things we ask each other, sometimes we just volunteer it without even being asked, after our name, is what do you do? Referring to our profession. Now, certain professions are given a certain level of prestige, and others are not prestigious. That doesn't mean they're not valuable. Value and prestige are not tied together. Look at professional sports. They make a lot of money. They're highly prestigious. But what is the real value that they're offering besides entertainment? Teachers offer an incredible value, yet their income is not a match to the value that they offer society. Oftentimes they're paying out of their own pocket and working extra hours to provide what the classrooms need. But they do have a certain level of prestige. Then you pick other jobs. The garbage man. That people look down on. They don't have prestige. But what would we do without them? We take them as an invaluable resource, but don't give any value to what they do. What would we do without them? Without our recycling and trash collectors? What would we do without our grocery store workers? Without our food prep workers? Without our drivers? Without all the people that make a critical infrastructure now that don't hold a prestigious position? Do you know a garbage truck worker makes a lot of money? So value, prestige, and income are not tied. What is tied is our identity. We give people and we take on a certain air or level of worthiness as individuals, as humans, based upon what we do for a living. And if you have something prestigious, it's not necessarily even what's valuable or what's financially good. Can't think of a better word. It's what's prestigious. Then you have more value as a human. You are not what you do for a living. People lose their jobs. They get furloughed. They get laid off. Downsizing. Something changes in their health, and they're no longer able to do their respectable, prestigious job. And some people, they can't handle that because they identify so much with what they do for a living as who they are. They feel they have no more worth as a human because they're not a lawyer anymore. They're not a practicing doctor. They're not a police officer. They're not doing what they used to do that gave them some sense of self-worth. Our jobs change over time. We change our jobs over time. You can't constantly identify yourself with how valuable you are based upon where you're working at any given time. That doesn't inherently give you your value. It is a changeable variable. And people with a less prestigious job can take that upon themselves and feel like they are less than as a person because of what they do for a living. Because the prestige associated with what they do for a living, not the value they contribute, not their work ethic, not the hours and labor and effort that they put in. and value that they provide, but the prestige that's associated with the title. And they can take that upon themselves, just as people with more prestigious positions, and feel like they're less than because of what they're doing for their job at any given moment. We don't base our value on the work that we do for a living. We do as a society, but you shouldn't as a person. You weren't born practicing medicine, no more than you were born bussing tables. Society, in order to continue to run, as we can see in the shutdown, who are the critical workers? The critical workers are the people that are often overlooked, that aren't given the prestige. Along with first responders, we have pharmacy techs, janitors, food prep workers, drivers, sanitation, postal service, people that often don't get the credit for providing value are considered integral, necessary staff. Your value is not tied to your work. You're no more or less critical if you're critical infrastructure as if you're the people that are at home waiting to find out what's going to happen next. Because this is a situation where a lot of people were suddenly upheaved from their job. And when that happens to a person, they can lose their identity. They can feel terrible about themselves for the job that they then go to. If they had a high-level job, they've lost it, and then they have to take a low-level job so they have an income coming in for whatever reason. Now, even though they're still working, they may feel badly about themselves. If they went from practicing to teaching, they may feel badly about themselves because of what they're doing for a living. You aren't born with a job. Before society, jobs didn't exist. And to support a society, we need every job filled, or it just doesn't work. We need all the parts working, or it just doesn't work. So there's a position for every person, and positions change. Just like your homes change, your friends change, your taste in music changes, your job changes. And it doesn't dictate, just like your friends, your taste in music, your living situation, who you are and your worth as an individual. The two are not tied. We tie them. Try to untie them. You'll feel better about yourself. You won't be so attached to your title that, God forbid, something happened to your job, that you feel you have no respect or esteem or value in yourself because you've lost that title, or your title changes, or you retire and now what? Who am I? I'm no one because I'm not this anymore. And if you don't have a job that's so prestigious, stop knocking yourself. If you have integrity, if you have work ethic, if you're contributing, you should pat yourself on the back. The job you have is not who you are. And we need to disengage those. If we can't do it societally, at least we can do that individually. If you're working, you're contributing, but your work doesn't define you. I had a better version of this video, but my internet and everything went, and I thought it was important enough that I wanted to put it out there before I forgot. Sorry. It is what it is. I love you guys. Have a good day. Have a good quarantine.